welcome back to the Fixing Football podcast. It's me, Martin Naylor. I'm here with Liam O'Meara, and today we're going to be speaking about the biggest saga of the summer. It's Alexander Isak. It's time for us to get a little bit more stuck into it with some detail. Where do we start, Liam? Where do we start with this? Is it worth going right back and tracing the story?
I think we start with where we are now and then go back like a how did I get here kind of. Because I think as we're recording, because these things, I'm always conscious these things can change quite quickly, but when we're recording, which is Monday night, at the moment, it's a little bit of an impasse where Liverpool have made that bid of £110 million, which has been rejected, with Newcastle reportedly wanting closer to 150, which has meant Alexander Isak's become unsettled and he's currently not with the squad. And it seemed like the Newcastle fans made their position quite clear over the weekend.
Well, that's perfect, because it sort of ties into the beginning of this story. And if everything that we are being told by David Ornstein and the Fabrizio Romanos of the world, and is Ben Jacobs one who's quite in it?
Yeah, he's the new kid on the block, isn't he?
The new kid. These people are all reporting that Alexander Isak first told Eddie Howe of his desire to leave at the beginning of last season, to say, this would be my final season. I'm going to start looking for options next season. Then, from what David Ornstein was saying over the weekend, I don't know if you saw him like live on Sky at pitchside on one of the things, or it might not have been Sky, it might have been another broadcaster, but he did like a pitchside thing, I think at Anfield. And he mentioned that Isak reiterated that to Eddie Howe a couple of weeks before the end of the season. I don't know if that was before or after the Carabao Cup, but it was around that time that he was still looking for. He's still going to start exploring his options. Cut to the story of this transfer a little bit, because let's be fair here, the top two teams in the country were both on the market for a striker.
Yeah.
But maybe they knew this stuff about Isak. It would be crazy if his agent for them clubs not to know. And Arne Slot was a big admirer publicly. David Ornstein made no secret of telling everyone that he was Arteta's man. He was the main target of Mikel Arteta, but everything just seemed super unreasonable. Like this 150 million crazy world record transfer deal that was on the horizon for a seemingly settled, happy player. So taking it from there, that Arsenal go out and buy Victor Gyökeres, Liverpool go and buy Hugo Ekitike after the bid, I think that came, or after the public interest in Isak. Then once them two signings are over the line, it's not necessarily a statement, but news gets out that Isak has decided to look at other options. He wants to explore his options, which is sort of like, I'm with this bird, but I'm still gonna look at some other girls, right?
It's a classic like Love Island scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not exclusive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think that the timing of that is weird, or, I mean, are we just getting the back end of it as the public?
Yeah, I think there's a lot we're not hearing as the public, and this is where my patience with Newcastle on this is not as much as other people, where I think this is massively avoidable from Newcastle's part, because as far as I can tell as an outsider, Isak signed a contract, which Newcastle fans keep saying, well, he signed a contract. But that was a 5-year deal 2 years ago. I would argue his valuation is a lot different. Now, it's all well and good saying Newcastle given this platform to do X, Y, Z, but I don't understand why he wasn't offered a new contract based on the fact that he is now, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, the best striker in the world.
Yeah.
And for a club that has unlimited wealth, it seems to me like they've had the priorities all wrong with regards to PSR, because for me, my number one priority, if I was Newcastle, maybe even over the last sort of 12, 18 months, would have been Bruno Guimaraes and Alexander Isak being on long-term contracts. And I would worry about the PSR and new players later down the line, because the fact that he's still on the same contract of the player that was signed from Real Sociedad that time ago, that's just poor management. It's quite clear. The one thing Newcastle have is abundance of wealth. If they've allowed a situation where even the finances of the deal, where he's being called greedy from the Newcastle fans, that seems to me like they've dropped the ball on that, and they've changed their leadership structures within Newcastle so many times.
Well, this is what Mitchell. Yeah, this is what I was going to bring up, just from the players' point of view, because I do agree that I feel like Newcastle have maybe a little bit brought this on themselves. They're at their most successful point in recent history. They've just won a cup and they've qualified for the Champions League. They have enormous wealth backing, and this can only be the road to success for them. According to him, or leaks from his camp, he was assured a new contract of £300,000+ a week, which, don't get me wrong, is ridiculous money. But in footballers' terms, it is probably the value of the best striker in the world right now.
Well, the question is, will someone else pay him? And that's ultimately what this all comes down to.
But it does a little bit. But my original point is that the two best teams in the country were looking for a striker. Now, Arsenal probably not in that conversation right now in terms of on the market for Alexander Isak. But Liverpool, the champions, are in the market and are very public about their interest and have made these bids. So is it... I don't know how people can be so angry at Liverpool, and that's people, Newcastle fans, the mouthy ones online. And I don't mean to pick at them, because they're going to be upset that their star guy is leaving. But it's not out of the realms of possibility that the best team in the country want the best player in the country.
Right. This is ultimately where I find this whole thing very frustrating. This idea of red cartel client journalism and all that kind of argument. Like, the idea of £110 million transfer is fucking newsworthy, if nothing else. It is worthy of discussion. So it's all well and good saying that it's the media that have upset the player. The media's job isn't to protect Newcastle's players and I'm sorry, but it's very much newsworthy to discuss that. And it is tricky with this, and I think this is where it's a little bit different now. We're in the and I've heard it really well described on sort of the Totally Football show. We're in the era of the micro update, where in the past these and we talked about this a little bit last week, where in the past you would only find out almost after the event or very close to, whereas now people are desperate for news. So
clinging on to anything.
Yeah, so even we joke about it quite a lot in our group with this idea of talks advancing,
concrete interest.
Yeah, exactly. Or talks held, and
discussions, internal discussions are
yeah, exactly. They have drafted a shortlist.
Admire the player.
Well, I think literally, and again, we're recording on Monday. I checked my phone on the way in, on obviously checking this story, and it was Newcastle sent a delegation out to Florence to potentially speak to Moise Kean, and it's who, by the way, I think he's had a very good year at Fiorentina. That'd be quite an interesting thing. And then literally a photo of the chartered flight of this private jet from London to Florence, and it may well be that I think if I was Newcastle, I would definitely be looking at alternatives right now.
Oh, for sure, they've got to. Yeah, they've got to. They've got to be looking at it, because let's just call it out now. Do you think? I mean, when this news originally broke, my initial reaction was he doesn't move, and specifically because of the players Liverpool and Arsenal had brought in. I honestly expected Arsenal to get involved, and we seem to have steered clear now. We've spent a biggish chunk of our budget that it's going to take some doing for us to get that done.
I don't think that's why. I think it comes down to what you were talking about earlier with options being assessed, I think Isak has probably had a preference from day one. I think it's that simple. I think if you had a sniff, you would have been in. I think if Chelsea had a sniff, they would have been in. I think United, if they had a sniff, they would have been. I think it's been clear where he wants to go, but that's pure speculation.
Well, that's again. This is what we're good at now.
Yeah.
So, what do you make of the arguments about him by Newcastle fans that he has a contract, he should just let him run? I mean, what's the move from here now for both the player, Liverpool, and Newcastle? Take it in whichever order you want.
I think the overarching narrative that people seem to want to put out is that Newcastle hold all the cards. That essentially he's got 3 years left on his deal. It's a World Cup year, so he'll want to / has to play. I'm not sure I buy into that completely because you are talking a huge valuation asset, and if he's not playing, that market value hemorrhages.
Plus, that the World Cup year thing is he's plays for Sweden. He's going to play with Victor Gyökeres. Because he's going to be. If anything, he's going to be well rested if they just leave him on bench all year.
Well, this is it, and I said that will matter for some players. It'll matter for people like Mark Gay if he wants to start for England. Like that would be that'll.
Yes, that's the different. Yeah, that's the totally opposite of it. Yeah,
but for Isak, I don't think it'll be a massive problem. I think the biggest issue is going to be his valuation depleting because whilst Newcastle don't need the money, they do need the PSR manoeuvre. Selling Isak for 150 million in this window could be transformative for their future transfers. I wouldn't rush to spend it either. I think I was having a chat with a good Newcastle fan on our Twitter the other day. We need a replacement. I would be holding off on that. I'd be like, can we get someone in on loan and maybe think about how do we restructure? Because there is no replacement. You don't replace Alexander Isak.
You certainly can't go like for like.
So you've got to think about 2 or 3 players and that takes time. So I would almost go back to the draw. I would look to trying to sell him. Maybe get a loanee in. I think Kolo Muani seems like the obvious loan. He's always available for a loan, isn't he? Or Vlahovic, someone like that who can sustain a top 5 finish and then go again next year would be, I think, the sensible thing to do. But to go back to your question, yeah, I think there is leverage for Isak. If he's saying he's not playing, I think that will accelerate this process quite a lot.
What do you make of that then? Him saying he's not playing. Where do you sit with that?
Scumbag, but in a world where no one else is going to look after you and you look after yourself, and we've talked about the kind of money I understand it. I don't like it, and I'd like to think that I would act differently, but we're talking generational wealth kind of money on this move. So do I understand it? Yeah, I do. I don't like it though.
I think scumbag. Honestly, I think scumbag's harsh, and I'm more side with the player. If he's given Eddie Howe and Newcastle notice of his intention, this isn't out of the blue. Might have come like that to the fans, but Eddie Howe knew this was coming, and if he did, then certainly Paul Mitchell did. Maybe that's why a contract didn't come. Even Amanda Staveley might have done, and there's no way people just don't talk about their star man wanting to jet off in 12 months' time. So for a footballer's career is super short, and it's even shorter to earn the top wedge. He's very lucky that he's 25 or 24. He's around that age, and he's going to be moving into a bracket that hopefully he can hold on for a good 5-year contract if he's lucky. Career's short. He's got 5 years to earn the money for the rest of his life. And why should Newcastle stand in his way just because of a contract that he signed? If he could get injured, if he got injured between now and the end of the season, Newcastle are in the same boat in terms of a player.
I do see this point of view. Yeah, I do see this point of view. I mean, they would argue, I think Newcastle would argue, well, we signed a contract in good faith. You signed the contract. it was fair then. All we're asking you to do is to uphold your end of the bargain. We're not asking you to do anything different. We're not asking you to deviate. All we're asking you to do is what you said you'd do. That's all we're asking you to do, Alexander. And I get that point of view. And in other areas of business in the world, like that would be how this plays out. But I do understand what you're talking about, this idea of a short career, and you've got ambition that's beyond just money. It's not just money here. The greedy thing, of course. It's not just that. That's disingenuous, that argument of him being greedy. I know he will obviously earn a lot more money, but Newcastle could have done that. They chose not to for whatever reason. You're probably right. It may be that this was actually an ongoing saga for the whole 12 months in Newcastle leadership team. Who knows, right? We'll probably never know that. But the opportunity is there. So I do see both sides of you, but ultimately it don't look great.
It doesn't look great because he's got 60, 70,000 people there every week who would kill for his shirt.
Also, if he was playing shit, they'd want him out. You know,
this point now, what we're at, only benefits Newcastle. This isn't a player running down his contract and doing something like Trent, for example, which is there's a lot of different nuances to the Trent saga with this, but the fact that he is under contract.
Do you know the example I would look at if I was Newcastle? I'd look at Mbappe with PSG.
Yeah,
for me that was a very similar situation. There was a little less left on the contract, but Mbappe was very clear what he wanted to do that whole time, and PSG held on and all these extra extensions. But what happened eventually? He went, and they're still in a legal battle over money and bonuses owed and stuff like that. So I think that is the lesson for me anyway.
Yeah, and the fact that he is under contract only benefits Newcastle at this point. They now have the leverage in this transfer. Now, what they need to do, what I think they should do, and this is, call it a fix if you want, just get the best deal for him. Sweat it out till the last day. The best deal is what they value him at. Now, if they value him at 150 million, make Liverpool pay it in one way or another. Get all these bonuses, get the add-ons, call it 110 million up front, call it 50 million up front. It doesn't really matter. As long as the whole package is worth 150 million. That's what you value him at. Get that. Liverpool, if they're coming in at 110, they'll probably come up. I don't think I think they're in deep enough at 110 million to think, we could push the ball. It's not a slap in the face.
Yeah, that's the prevailing narrative, that no one makes an opening offer 110 million then just leaves it.
Yeah, and 110 million, despite what Newcastle fans like to think, isn't a slap in the face. It's one of the most expensive transfers of all time. Just because the market's a little bit crazy. And
it's a healthy opening offer would be how I would describe it. I've said disingenuous. If you're in Newcastle pretending that they're only prepared to pay 110 million, you're just being awkward about it. How do you think Liverpool have acted for this?
I think Liverpool have gone about it smart, actually, and kept quiet. I've only ever seen one comment maybe from Anslot about Isak. It's the standard, he's a great player, you need to watch out for him, and everyone would like someone like him on your team. He's a fantastic striker, something along them lines, which the papers are allowed to run with then as, Anslot loves him. Like he's the number one target. It's easy to put 1-on-1 together and get 7. But I think that the fact that they've gone in at the time that they did and then gone, all right, we'll see.
Here's the thing as well.
And let Isak and his camp build that, because the tension now is that I think Newcastle fans want to see him gone, just get the right money for him.
Well, this is it. I was talking to a Newcastle fan that I work with about this, because he's very much a defensive opinion. He doesn't like the way Liverpool have acted. He thinks they've been back briefing and all that kind of stuff. And I basically said to him, if they have, they've run rings around you.
Yeah.
And like, what do you want them to do? Like, it's the real world. It's the business world. Like, that Liverpool's job is to get the best deal for Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's not to be nice to Newcastle and fair to Newcastle. It's to get the best deal for Liverpool. So if they run rings around you, that's Newcastle's problem. And a lot of this comes down to the leadership at Newcastle. And that's another thing that I think you could put at the door. Let's see. And I don't believe in all that client journalist stuff, by the way, because I don't see any Newcastle fans moaning about the Weezer updates and stuff like that. No. They don't seem to be moaning about them. Or Weezer updates, sorry. So it always seems to work one way, that. But
I agree.
If that was happening, again, like, it's not like Newcastle don't have the resources to get people in to do this themselves. It's part of it. It's something Man City have been fantastic on.
Yeah.
We joke about it. When was the last time you heard them get an offer rejected abroad?
They just go and get it done.
Yeah, they make an offer, it gets accepted, and look, I'm not going to. So they need to get. I'm not going down that road. They need to get smarter because there's a lot of lessons for them to learn from this.
Yeah. That being said, I think it does leave Newcastle in a terrible position if and when he goes. They are losing, the best striker in the league, as we're saying. Still a top talent with a good chunk of his career ahead of him. What do they do?
It's very hard. I
know you've said about the loans and stuff, but
apparently they are linked with Moise Kean. There is going that. It's very difficult. I as I hinted earlier, my instinct would be the longer term game would be better. You'd be better banking the money and restructuring your attack. Personally, 2 or 3 different type of strikers.
Just going to go sort of an argument parallel to this is that Newcastle and Aston Villa fans have been jumping in as well a little bit online about it, is the fact that they are being hamstrung by the PSR rules that won't let them spend, that won't let them do this and that. This is probably a chat for another day as well with PSR, but I will agree that I don't think the rules are probably fit for purpose anymore.
Probably not.
With the amount of wealth in, let's say, the top 10, the top half of the league.
The loss figures never change, are they? 105, is it? Off the top man, 105 million over 3 years. That's never changed, does it?
But Newcastle can't even get to that point yet. The same point that I'm struggling to wonder why. And I don't know if it's a wages thing. I'm more sort of asking in an open question here. I don't know if you'll have the answer, but Newcastle are like the 15th in world football in terms of money generated. Like they're 6th in the Premier League. That's about where they are in the table. They're behind legacy clubs like.
That's pretty much what the table always works out on wages spent.
Other than the anomaly that is Manchester United and brand Manchester United, who were second. The last list I could get was from the 23-24 season, but that was Real Madrid top, Manchester United second in terms of money generated. Newcastle are 15th in the world. The 6th in the Premier League in terms of money generated. So they can't be far off these PSR limits that Arsenal and Manchester United have to deal with.
They made a lot of early investments, didn't they? 3 years ago. Made a lot of Chris Wood type transfers where they've signed him for 30 million and sold him for 10. That was like a year later because they were desperate to stay up. Those kind of transfers really harm you on PSR.
I'd like to see a Kieran Maguire special on that because I want to crunch them numbers a little bit more and find out where they actually are being hamstrung. I don't doubt that they are a little bit because the rules are there, but we know that if they are with the chains unleashed, and maybe this is a chat for a Newcastle fan, and whether their owners care as much as they would like them to, but with the chains unleashed, Newcastle are the richest club in the world, and they can go and do whatever they want.
Let's be very clear. They are 10 times richer than Manchester City.
Yep.
The PIF. So it's not even comparable to any other sporting organisation. But he'll have so much sympathy because they're not new rules. Those rules were there when the money was put in.
Yeah.
So they're not been imposed. There has been some rules imposed onto Newcastle, like the associated party transactions and making sure that the sponsorships are fair market value. That has been put onto them.
Yeah.
So I have some sympathy there to an extent, because that's something that has been used as a loophole by other clubs, and that got shut for Newcastle, basically because of Newcastle. So I do have sympathy there, but in terms of PSR, not so much, because those rules are always there.
I just wonder. I don't know. Them rules need changing. I think we'll get into that another day.
Well, that's for the clubs themselves to do.
Let's come up with there's no real solution here other than Isak moving to Liverpool. It's just
tyranny
how
of the
and when.
It's the tyranny of the majority, isn't it? That's what Man City call it, isn't it? The tyranny of the majority that keeps them in their box, which is winning loads of stuff.
Isn't that just an oxymoron? The tyranny of the majority. I don't get it. It's not great English.
Well, yeah, it's basically the fact that because it's a voter, they need to get anything through in the Premier League. You need a voter block of 14.
Yeah.
And what's basically happening is these 14 clubs a lot of the clubs don't want to get rid of PSR because it works for them that they don't have. Some clubs aren't as ambitious as in Newcastle, and they don't want to have to spend to compete and to. They're
just happy enough to stay in the Premier League.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why it hasn't changed.
Alexander Isak, let's dream up the solution here. In my fix, if there is one, is that Newcastle, I hope they do get the money for him. I think Alexander Isak is worthy of that price tag. I'd like to see Liverpool put a dent in their PSR takings at some point, because it seems they've got unlimited headroom at the moment through good management, by the way, not the sort of mismanagement we spoke about with Newcastle.
Yeah.
But I'd still like 150 million is a good chunk.
Yeah, look, I'm going to put my estate agent hat back on. 10 years I wore that hat. If I was in the middle of this deal, what would I be looking at? And I'd be chatting to both parties, I think. And the numbers I'd have in my head would be 130 plus 10 add-ons that are guaranteed add-ons. And I would also offer first option on Harvey Elliott as a future transfer.
I think Newcastle need to be taking a pick of some of Liverpool's talents. Even take two of them on loan as part of the deal. Rio and Guma, I think is the one.
I don't think many of Liverpool's non-starters get into their team. If I was Newcastle, I'd probably have a look at Andy Robertson. Yeah, I'd probably have a look at that. And also, they've struggled to get a goalkeeper. And Liverpool have a world-class goalkeeper sat doing nothing all year. Mohamed Ashvili.
I'm Ramsdale.
Oh yeah, they did get Ramsdale. Yeah, they did in the end. I mean, I think they wanted an English keeper though, didn't they, for the quota? Yeah, I think that's what. I think it's the other one left, really. That's probably why Ramsdale gets these moves, maybe. But yeah, I think that would be the number I'd have in my head: 130 plus 10, and maybe a first option and Harvey Elliott.
But
deal done.
It does get done.
I think it does get done, yeah.
I do too now at this point. And I don't see... In my head, there was a story that came out. I know I was wrapping this up then, but there was a story came out that Newcastle aren't interested at selling at any price. They don't want to. And they believe he can be reintegrated. The day after, 24 hours later...
It changed that. Yeah, I remember that.
Wants no reintegration. He's not bothered.
Yeah.
So that sort of quelled any talk of a potential, new contracts. It
doesn't seem Alexander Isak is game, because the question is, can you do a Marinakis and bully? Not bully's not the wrong word, but you make him stay like you did with.
It certainly looked away.
Yeah, and I don't think Isak's playing those games where Morgan Gibbs-White maybe was happy with a pay rise and probably thought it was all right here at Forest. Is it that much better than at Spurs? Nah. Maybe, but Forest is quite a good club to play for.
Fair, right. That's where we're at on Alexander Isak. We're going to take a quick break. The Fantasy Football League is open for entries for this final week. So we've had the first week of the Premier League as this stands, August 18th. You have 1 week to enter, and then the door is slammed shut on any new entries. You must be subscribed to the YouTube channel, following us on stuff. All the information for joining is at our website, which you can find out by staying until the end, or link in the descriptions and stuff. And we will see you after this short break. And we're back. Still not thought of a good intro. Liam, how are you?
Well, yeah, well.
Real football's back. Real football's back. I've not got to pretend about League One anymore.
Yeah, real football's back. Yeah, real. I must admit, I do prefer watching the Premier League. I enjoy that Bolton was back, but I'm not sat there pretending. I'm not one of those people that pretends that I love watching League One all the time. I do prefer watching the elite of the game. It's just a better footballing experience to watch. I miss the days that Bolton were in the Premier League for this reason. I'm not. Yes, I do understand the romantic element, and I get it. Non-league football's great, when you go and stuff. But if I'm honest, Sunday at 4:30 kickoff, nothing beats that in the Premier League.
It's Creamfields week.
Yes.
Friday and Saturday I'll be there. Hopefully I didn't.
What time are you on?
Friday. You can find out this all on the Creamfields app if you download that. Been told to say that.
Have you really? On here? You asked you to do that on here?
No, not on here. Just wherever possible. Get people on the app.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
I'm on 5 till 6 on Friday, which is a good time. We're in the hospitality area, so anyone with a gold pass can come and see. And
do you get food with that?
Do I get food, or is the food with the pass?
Well, in both.
I get food. I don't know what you get with the pass. I've got an artist pass, so I don't know.
You'd want food, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd hope so. So I think you get a fancier tent plot and stuff.
Saying that, I don't know if the Creamfields code. I don't know if they'll have much of an appetite, but I don't know. It's not really my thing. But go on.
It's a long week. If you're there Thursday to Sunday, it's a long old time without any food. 5 till 6. There's no one, unless you're really into certain acts. There's no names on at the same time, so it's a good time to come and see me. Make use of the facilities in that area. So I'm dead happy about it. And then Saturday, I'm on.
Who's headlining the Friday?
Who's headlining the Friday is a really good question, and
I'm
going to say
the show was, wasn't it?
The app will tell you, but I believe it's David Guetta.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good. I'm just going to double confirm that right now. Vintage Culture.
Checking the app, which has got all the information that you possibly need about Creamfields on it.
There's a few actually for Friday. Chase and Status are on one of the, but there isn't a main stage. There's different areas that are specific to sort of genres.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because dance has got different. Yeah. Okay.
So Fisher would be maybe more commercial, but still quite tech house. Chase and Status are on the Arc stage, which is the biggest one.
Okay.
And Eric Prydz, who's known for his visual show, probably more popular in the early 2000s, but his visual shows that he does in Vegas and stuff he's bringing, so he's on as well, one of the late ones. But I'm on early, so you can come and have a drink and some food with me. And then Saturday, I'm on late. I'm on 11 till 12. But I'm on in between the headline slot, which is MK and Swedish House Mafia.
MK, that's 17. Is that them?
MK's big hit is 17. Yeah, he's got loads of. He's got a song called Dior at the moment, which is quite popular. He's massive. He's class. He's partly the reason why my DJ name is MLN, because his name is Mark Kinchin, and I just was struggling for a name to find and went with MLN.
Fair enough. I mean, he's not going to sue you now, is he?
You can't sue me for my name.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, I'm on in between MK and Swedish House Mafia.
Okay.
In a different spot, but
which obviously you've just checked the app to go on to be able to see that.
Yeah, if you're looking, the app is right there. You can see.
Look at that. That's a great looking app.
I really can't wait. It's going to be unbelievable. If you're thinking of booking me for a private event, I'm going to be a lot more expensive this time next week. So if you want to give me a call, that's the plan.
Well, good luck, Martin. Good luck.
Thank you. Like I said, though, football was back. Talk to me about... We'll get on to Arsenal in a second. Let's talk about Bolton.
We're going to start Bolton, are we?
We're going to start Bolton still.
It's been an okay start. So 1-1, lost 1, draw 1.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, of our opening 3 fixtures, I probably would have taken because they're quite a tricky 3. I think Plymouth aren't all that. But when the fixtures got announced, when I saw these 3 opening fixtures, I was a bit like, ooh, that's a tough one. But yeah, draw away at Barnsley, which I probably would have taken before the game, but they did go down to 10 men about 50th minute. We were 1-0 down. But we played all right. We weren't brilliant by any means, but we played okay. We equalised later on, John McAtee with a goal that'll do him a world of good, I think, because he is struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah. Since some fans online a bit unsettled with him.
He's got quite a lot of chances, and it's just nothing's really worked. And if I'm honest, I don't know what he is.
Yeah.
Like, I can't work out what his position is. He seems to play best as like a false 9 / advanced 10, whatever, whoever you see that. But you've got to have a big man with you on that, and you've got to still put yourself around a little bit. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But we've got 2 home games in a row now.
Yeah.
Reading and Lincoln, which we need to be winning. 4 points minimum from them, but I'd like 6. And I think if we win those, it's been a good start.
Happy with Schumacher's start?
Yeah.
I like start, but it's like his first season, really.
Yeah, the football looks good. I would have liked to have won the Barnsley game. I'd like to have seen us put them to bed when they went down to 10 men. And we've still light up top. So Dolby's still injured. So we're just playing with just Mason Burstow, who's done well, to be fair.
Yeah.
But you can't have one number 9. It leaves you weak.
Do you think you'll dip into the market before it shuts?
You'd hope so. You'd hope so. But we'll see. We'll see. I think when you ask me next week, and I'll that's like a good time to really that'll be 5 games in. I can really evaluate the start then. But been okay is the word I would use.
You went out of the Carabao Cup on penalties.
Yeah, that was a shit show, to be completely honest. That was a really young Sheffield Wednesday team. We look weak after our first 11, so we rotated the team. Yeah. That's what that fixture's for. Like that.
Yeah,
it's very much about the second string getting a chance to prove themselves, and not really any of them came out with any kind of credit in the bank, really. So quite disappointing, that one.
I mean, yeah, like you said, next week's probably the best time to talk to you about it, but how's the landscape of League One looking? Is it as expected, you think? Is people performing as expected, or have you seen anything in the first couple of weeks that someone might surprise you?
Cardiff are winning games, and Blackpool have done quite well in the window. They've made a few good signings, so they're better now. Both of those are better than I expected. Huddersfield are going to be up there. Stockport are going to be up there. We need to hit form early on.
You want to stay in the top pack.
Yeah, there's the Blackpool game away, which is the same day as our little golf tournament. Cheers for that. So the Blackpool away day, that's a big game.
Yeah,
that's a big game. But we've not won there in 60 years, and all Luke likes to bring that stat up. It's about time we finally got that Wigan one boxed off at the end of last season. Let's go and get that boxed off, and then you're starting to plant your flag a little bit as an automatic promotion thing. I still think we'll be up there come the end of the year, but something's still missing. But it's early doors yet.
So let's switch it up to Premier League stuff. Arsenal v Man United, probably the big fixture of the weekend, if not the same. What's the word? The same pressures of what it used to have. What did you make of the match?
It wasn't the best match to watch by any means. I don't know. I'm keen to know what you think first of all.
The overriding feeling when you listen to some of the media that's come out afterwards is Arsenal played horrendously. Manchester United are back, but Arsenal won. Like
because I was watching it, and
we didn't play that badly.
I watched it in a pub on my own that was packed full of United fans, And I was talking to a United fan, and I said, he was telling me how well United were playing. But I basically said to him, I'm like, but Arsenal are leading. They don't need to open up. I didn't see United scoring.
I feel the same. I wasn't worried, and I'm a lot less worried these days. For the last 3 seasons, we've been fantastic in defence, and I just didn't see them. They might have scraped something, and maybe a draw was probably a good reflection of the match.
Well, there's a lot of good for United.
I'd have called us rusty. We were misplacing passes that in a couple of weeks' time we won't be doing. We were definitely trying to counter quicker.
Yeah, you were trying to hit them on the break, but they seemed to be all over that. They played all right, United.
They did play well.
I think Saka struggled to get in the game. Obviously, Gyökeres didn't have the best opening, but it's his first game. Like
I said, he made a couple sloppy touches, which I think he's quite well known for, but he didn't. It was getting that service to him, and what I did like is that we were trying. If it didn't, I've never seen De Ligt play that aggressively. It was almost like a welcome to the Premier League, like they said Portugal anymore.
Looks like he's lost a bit of weight as well, De Ligt, I thought. He looks in better shape.
There was clearly with that 3 that United play, them 3 central defenders, there was clearly a job to be done on the single guy up front for Arsenal. So, I mean, they did it well. Well played to him. Like I've always sort of liked De Ligt. He's flattered to deceive a little bit throughout his career, but
we talked about it last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought there was a player in there.
It's a disappointing career he's had. Really.
Yeah.
Is it Juventus grass, isn't it? That's pretty much what he's known for.
Yeah. Saka was quite anonymous until the end. I think Declan Rice had a below average game. I thought Ødegaard was the only driving force in the team. And
first half he looked better, Ødegaard, and he sort of started to fade.
Did you see when Declan Rice got hit with the free kick? He took it pretty much straight in the face. I think it's from Bruno Fernandes, maybe. He took it straight in the face from the wall, and I think he was concussed. He just getting worse and worse. I think he was out. When they took him off at the end, he was just like he looked injured. I don't know if this is right here.
Who's next for Arsenal then?
So our fixture list is horrendous, but we've got Leeds at home on Saturday, and then we go to Anfield, and then that's followed up with a combination in some order of Man City, Nottingham Forest, and Newcastle. I'm not sure about the home and away versions of that, but we're definitely at Anfield in 2 weeks' time. And then there's the international break. So then there's the window shuts, and then there's the international break. So we play City in like mid-September, the way it works out. But it's that opening 6 fixtures: Manchester United at Old Trafford, Anfield, Man City, and Newcastle is not easy to say the least. And I think getting off to a win, that usually the first sort of 3 games, I'd like to think you get up to speed, you try and get your rhythm together. It's uncommon that you have such a tricky fixture as in going to Old Trafford.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as likely as any game, but I know what you mean. It's almost like you've had to start like you've not had a run up.
Yeah,
but have you like?
So normally the first couple games the result is almost less important than the performance.
It's a weird way of thinking, isn't it? But a lot of ex-pros talk about this, don't they? That they don't. The first game of the season often they don't really care about the result.
But when it comes to Old Trafford away, or when it comes to playing at Old Trafford, especially for Arsenal v United, it's such a historical rivalry that it was just about the result, and I'm just glad we got it. It's so
I was going to say, it doesn't seem very Arteta,
does
it? That the result doesn't matter in this first game. Not very Arteta with his weird marginal gains version of him now. But yeah, you won, and I actually thought that you looked like a team that could win the league. When I was watching you, just with the way you just didn't like you were going to concede in that game, and that was a United that played quite well and were up for it, and there's a lot of positivity around that United performance. And I think you could still be playing now. It'd still be 1-0.
So, I think it's a fair point. I liked the fact that we brought off Calafiore and Ben White, brought on Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly, both of whom could have easily started and no one would have batted an eyelid. Like we look really strong in defence like that. Raya had a good game. It was very much a bit of a welcome to the Premier League for Zubimendi and Gyökeres, but that's the way it goes. Hopefully it's a bit more fruitful next week against Leeds and things can kick on from there because we'll need to be up to speed to go into Anfield in a couple of weeks.
Definitely.
Any other business? Is anything catching your eye in the Premier League, in world football, in anything that you think there's some outstanding transfers to be done? There's a lot of noise about Gay and Eze. Chelsea is still on the market for a couple, you suppose, but they're always on the market.
True. The big one that caught my eye was Sunderland's win.
Yeah, it was a good win. Yeah, good start.
For a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's great to see the team that they have invested big on their squad.
Yep.
The league needs at least one of them to stay up. Hopefully, Leeds can be competitive as well. We'll see. We'll see. Burnley, I'm not really sure they will, if I'm being completely honest. But fingers crossed. No, less fingers crossed. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how they get on. But it was really good to see how they played, and it's a really good win, really good start for Sunderland. But also the other side of it, Potter at West Ham, it just does not seem to be clicking there. And I don't know if you saw it, but it was TalkSport with Karen Brady on it. So she's booked in advance, and she still did it after that result, which I think was quite interesting, really, to still do it after that result because you know what questions you're going to get. And she did. She double down on backing him, but it's a really interesting interview for anyone that watches it, anyone who didn't watch it, because like she talks about quite a lot, and she, that is an owner on that. We're not talking someone who's like she is, a part owner of West Ham. So when she's talking about stuff that's going on in the Premier League, she's literally involved in that. Like the regulator, the 115 chart, like they talk about loads of stuff. So it's quite interesting. But I think West Ham are in trouble, especially with the noise around Paquetá now as well.
Yeah, and Edson Alvarez as well as a target for Mourinho, I think. So Mourinho likes to get out the Premier League for his transfers usually.
Well, yeah, the intensity, isn't it? That he likes that intensity, and he's not done too well out there, Fenner, has he? He didn't have the best, but he might get them in the Champions League. He is in the playoffs, isn't he? In the Champions League, which would be some achievement, but he's not. I mean, Gallagher have gone big though with their. Them two have gone really big, but Gallagher have gone bigger with their transfers.
Yeah, it's where the money is there. So he's unfortunately on the other side of the train tracks there in terms of the money in Istanbul, but they make a good go of it. Eze and Gehi, don't know if you saw them sort of clapping each other off.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they both could be going. I think they both will. To be completely honest, I think both entering the last year of contracts, and
I think Gehi should be more of a priority to be sold at this point with where they are situation wise. Eze, I'd be intended to, if I was Crystal Palace, make an offer to stay, given what he represents for them. I think Mark Gay less so. I think Eze more
looks like he's very close to that Spurs move though now, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's really annoying. If
it's Champions League football they can offer now. You can stay in London. It's Champions League football.
It's a big one.
It makes complete sense, especially with Maddison being injured.
I'd like him to really hold on and join Arsenal.
Not sure. Well.
I think Tottenham will just move too quick.
I think he'd be more of an important player. I think that if I was Eze,
he can definitely be the main man at Tottenham.
Yeah, I think the Tottenham move makes more sense than Arsenal. He's got less chance of flopping at Tottenham, I think.
Yeah, because they always flop. Most of them flop. So it's
I think that move makes sense for him. But it's funny, isn't it? Because these two are the ones that everyone's talked about, but they're probably not the biggest asset that Palace have now.
No,
which is probably Wharton.
And that'll be one for next summer.
That's pushing 70-80 million.
Oh, they'll get good money for him for sure.
He is outrageously good. I don't know if you saw that game. That passage you play in the first half.
Yeah, I did.
To Mateta's chance early on.
He's a special footballer, and there's not many like him, especially.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not many players I've seen. We're talking about it today, and at work they were like, reminds me of Carrick when he's nothing like Carrick. That was like Iniesta.
No, it's more. He's got the stature of a Busquets, but the attacking eye of Iniesta. Like the way,
he reminds me so much of Iniesta. The way he plays, it's everything is going forward. He doesn't look sideways or backwards.
Always got a picture of the front, the attack in his mind. So he gets the ball and he's gone. It's such a special quality to have. He probably models himself on me, a young Martin Naylor.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think he'll come back up north next summer, post World Cup, maybe even before. We'll see how Crystal Palace season goes, but that's what I feel.
I could see him at City, but not right now.
Well, I think Manchester United would be very crazy to not be interested in him at this point, and hopefully
he's the Bruno Fernandes replacement.
Yeah, he fits into that system a lot better than he does.
Yeah, exactly.
It's whether Amarin's still there at this point. I know we're rambling a little bit now, but this is the sort of Premier League stuff that how we normally talk. We're just
exactly.
I like to get all over the show. I'm just trying to think if there's any other business for this week.
I think we've boxed everything off there, Martin.
Boxed off. Please remember to join our Fantasy Football League. The link is in the description to our website with all the information on there. You can go on any of our socials, which is at Fixing Football or at Fixing Football Podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment. If you comment in, we will be in touch. We'll get in touch. We want to get involved. We want to have loads of chats with people online and keep this conversation going. We want to keep having guests on. So thank you everyone who's already been on and is still involved with the podcast as a group, as a whole. But like I say, we want to keep growing this as a family and as an enterprise. Me and Lee want to keep talking like knobheads because we're
normal people.
Yeah, it's funny the other way. I'll see you all after Creamfields when I'll be a different man. He'll be a man post Creamfields because I've only been looking forward to this for like 6 months. So
And what's the best way to get your Creamfields nudes, mine?
At MLN the DJ on Instagram. Fuck the app.
On the app. Yeah. Right.
Peace out, everyone. Do a fixingfootballpodcast.com. See ya.